Hey guys, what's happening? A very warm welcome to all of you to the United Talk. Manchester United won, West Ham won. Not the performance we were expecting, not the result we were expecting. And especially after the disappointment against Chelsea, we all thought, at least I thought, that we were going to go and get 3 points. But we started the game off really well. Fosu Mensah on the right hand side and Brendan Williams on the left hand side. They actually started the game off really well. The team was clicking, we were attacking. The only thing that was missing was the final third, the passing in the final third. And I thought that's going to click because after a long time, after 3 or 4 games, for the first time we've started the game off really well. Because traditionally, not traditionally, but in the past 4 games or so, we've been starting off games really slow. Right, for the first 20 minutes, we are really slow. We are not into the game at all. On the contrary, in this game, we were actually in the game in the first 20 minutes, and then that water break came. And I thought, yeah, you're not able to score a goal, but you're going to continue to have that momentum after the water break, and you're going to score at least one, if not two, before half time. And I want to just wait here and just talk about Manchester City because I've seen Guardiola's team, the City team, play since past 3 or 4 years, since the time Guardiola has taken charge, and they start every game with momentum, right? With high intensity passing, pressing, whatever you call it, and they always start the game with a high tempo, with high energy. And it's not always that they'll get a goal. Sometimes they wait till the 94th, 95th minute to at least get one goal. But what do? You don't just drop off, you don't just let the momentum slip away, you keep trying. And that's what United did not do in this game because after the water break, I thought they just gave the momentum away to West Ham and they just kept coming into the game slowly as the first half progressed. And that was the problem for me. You start a game well after a long time. You are confident about your abilities to go and score a goal. Both your strikers, all three of your strikers, Rashford, Martial, and Greenwood, have had very good seasons. Bruno has been in top form. So you are confident about scoring a goal, right? So all you need to do is just keep trying, keep building the momentum, keep the momentum with you, and the goal is going to come eventually, right? That's exactly what we did not do. And then, later in the first half, that Paul Pogba penalty, and I've heard a lot of people say that it's a penalty, and I've heard a few people say it's not because his hands were in the unnatural position simply because the ball was coming at him at a very fast pace. I don't agree with that. I think it was a penalty, a stone cold penalty for me because rules or no rules. Look, if the ball is stuck that fast towards your face from 2 yards out or 3 yards out distance, then it's fine because that's your reaction and the first reaction because that's your instinct. Paul Pogba and the distance between the free kick and Paul Pogba was at least 15 to 20 yards. And look, I'm not taking this opportunity to trash Paul Pogba or put the blame on Paul Pogba that because of him we did not win the game. But all I'm saying is that was a penalty and there can be no doubts about it. It was a brain freeze from Paul Pogba. He could have just ducked like other players, but he didn't. He did duck, but he just kept his hands up. I don't know why. It was a brain freeze. So that was a penalty. The penalty was scored, and suddenly, I thought personally, a lot of people are saying that the first half we played crap, and I thought we did not play crap in the first half. We were actually good value for money in the first half. We started off really well till the 22nd minute, and yes, we gave the momentum away, but they did not look like scoring. West Ham did not look like scoring at all, and I know it's just West Ham, it's not Chelsea, right? But we were kind of in control of the game. We were not as good as the first 10 12 minutes, but we were still in control. We were unlucky to concede that penalty. That penalty was converted. Second half, I was a little more uncomfortable than in the beginning of the game because then I thought now West Ham are going to be difficult to break. They need a point out of this game. All they need to survive is get a point, and even if they concede one, they will not let us score 2 goals or 3 goals. So I was very uncomfortable in the second half. But you know what? We started well again. Again, we started well. Martial was involved. Greenwood was, of course, scored the brilliant goal. Bruno was involved. Pogba was involved. So our heartbeat of our midfield was involved, and we did get that goal early in the second half, in the 55th minute, if I'm not wrong. And from there on, you think, right, we have about 35 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes to actually change the game, to go on and score winner, the one goal that we needed to win, and we will now put the pedal on the gas and put the foot on the gas pedal, and we'll go on and win. But that did not happen. And the surprising thing is, in the 67th minute when there's another water break, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was passive. His body language was of someone who's not really trying to win this game. Maybe the message was to try to win the game, but ensure that you don't lose this game. That was the message. And for me, if that has happened, look, there's no way you can tell whether Solskjaer tried to do that actually or not. But if that was the case, then it's a shame, because you're playing West Ham at home. You should not be thinking like that. I know the situation is that even if you get a point, you get a point on Sunday against Leicester and you're all good inside the Champions League, and that's all you need. But that's not how you play. I mean, that game, it was for us to win. It was ours to win, and we did not win. And another problem I had, especially in the second half, was playing from the back. Southampton pressed us while playing from the back. Chelsea pressed us while playing from the back. And again, West Ham, I wouldn't say they pressed us, but they were, in the second half especially, they were trying to just block off the areas near our goal, just to avoid those passes being given to midfielders and the defenders and the midfielders taking those balls forward. So when somebody finds out about you playing from the back, and a lot of teams do play from the back. Look at Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Guardiola has coached 3 teams in the past decade, and all of them have played from the back: Barcelona, Man City, and Bayern Munich. It's not always going to work. Sometimes there will be mistakes. Sometimes you won't be able to play from the back because the opposition knows that you're going to do that, so they're going to cut some channels, some spaces out. What do? You need to have a plan B, and that's another surprising thing for me, because teams have kind of figured out that we try to play from the back, and if they try to press us when we're trying to play from the back, we don't have a plan B. We end up misplacing the passes, giving the ball away, giving away 2-3 fouls or whatever it is. We are not comfortable doing that when teams press us. And look, it's going to come with time that you're going to learn how to play from the back. It's going to happen with time. But if it's not happening in a game, if it's not working for you, switch it. Why take a risk? Just switch it to plan B. What's the plan B? Whether it's to find someone in the front. I mean, look, just heave the ball away and let Pogba win the ball. Let Matic win the ball in midfield. These are tall players. Pogba is 6'4", Matic is 6'3", 6'4", whatever it is. So let these players win the ball in midfield, win the second balls or whatever it is. But avoid taking risks in that area of the field, of the pitch, where you can end up conceding a chance or even a goal. And United don't seem to do that. I don't understand whether it's a coaching problem, whether it's a confidence problem. I don't know what it is, but they don't seem to have a plan B. And that's the exact thing I'm going to say while going forward. Now, the first 11 who've been playing like a peach since past 8 to 10 games, 8 games or whatever it is, suddenly when you block off the spaces in the middle and you don't have enough width, you don't have a plan B. Where's your Zlatan Ibrahimovic kind of a player who can just head the ball into the net? You don't have that, right? So you need to have a plan B, and there seems to be no plan B, which is another concern for me, because till now, Chelsea being an exception, we've been playing teams, with all due respect, in the bottom half of the table, right? The first good team we played was Chelsea, and they showed us where we are. The next best team was what? Southampton, and they played well and we dropped points there too. And look at West Ham. So for me, there are a lot of issues still with this team, and the biggest issue is, and I'm gonna take a minute to actually talk about the United stand as a community. It's a separate community about Manchester United, for Manchester United fans, headed by Mark Goldbridge, and I am a follower of that community, so please go onto that channel as well, subscribe, watch their videos, because one thing that Mark Goldbridge said, look, I watch a lot of his videos. I don't agree with all of the things that he says, but of course he has a right to his opinion, like all of us. But one thing that he said, and I don't want to take credit for it, but because that's what he said, and I agree with him completely, is that when you have players like Mata, Pereira, Lingard, Diego Dallo on the bench, when you have 9 players on the bench, and you need players to come off the bench to have an impact on the game, and you can't bring these players on, then why are they in your team? If Mata, Pereira, Lingard, Diego Dallo, if these players are not good enough to start against Chelsea in the cup, when you know that this game is not that important as the league game, when you know that these players cannot be trusted to come on and have an impact on the game against West Ham at Old Trafford, albeit without a crowd, but still you're playing at Old Trafford, when you can't trust your players to have an impact for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, then why are they at the club? Why are they at the club? I'm not even talking about Jesse Lingard and Andres Pereira being shit. I'm not even talking about that. Why are they at the club if you can't even trust them to play for 20 minutes? It's just baffling for me. And look, it's not like they can sell these players today or tomorrow, but yeah, the transfer window is going to be opening in the next week or so, right, if I'm not wrong. So if that happens, if you don't trust your players, out of the 9 substitutions, the 2 players you bring on is one out of necessity, Van Bissaka, and the other because that's the only goal scoring option you have in the lineup and on the bench, sorry. So then why is it even a discussion that we need Jadon Sancho? Why is it even a discussion that you need someone like a Jack Grealish or a Van de Beek or whatever, whoever it is? Why? Because if you look at that bench, and I was surprised because Matic did not have a good game, and to be very honest with you, you can just go back and check for yourself. Since the time Matic has signed a new 3-year contract, which for me again is a surprise, he's not been playing well. So if Matic has been giving away fouls in our own half, and if he's not playing well, why not get Fred on? Why not get McTominay on? Because these players are not exactly a replacement, a like for like replacement for Matic, because he's a defensive midfielder and those 2 players are more like a number 8 kind of midfielders. But it's not that you're playing Chelsea or Liverpool or City who are gonna just run away with the ball in that area of the field because Matic is doing a very important job. It's like Fred and McTominay or either one of them can come along and do a job. Alright, they have not been playing well, but you have them in your team to do a specific job. If Matic is tired, if he's giving away so many fouls, if he's taking so many touches, why not just substitute him for these players? Are they not good enough for you to come on and play against West Ham for half an hour? Yes, they are. Is it the confidence? I don't know what it is, because you're not going to sell Fred and McTominay, are you? You're not. And whether Matic is going to be at United for the next 3 years to groom one of McTominay or Fred, whether that's going to happen or not is a debate, and we can have that later as well. But if Matic doesn't have a good game, you're supposed to have a Fred replacing him or a McTominay replacing him, especially against West Ham. That should not be a problem. I'm sorry. It's not like you're playing against City and you don't have an option on the bench. It's West Ham, for crying out loud. And that's another big problem, because when you look at the tactics from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and we all know that, look, he's a naive manager. He's done very good things at Manchester United. I have 100%. I mean, I back him 100%. And he is naive, so you are going to expect mistakes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But that's the thing. Now against Leicester on Sunday, we need to at least get a point, and that's the worry for me, because if you go out with a mentality to get a point, then you are setting yourself up very, very defensively. And against the Leicester side with Jamie Vardy, Javi Barnes, Ayoze Perez, these players are going to just try to stop us from playing from the back again. And we need to have a plan B. What will our plan be? What will our plan B be on that day? Because if they are not going to allow you to play from the back, are you going to do the same thing over and over again? It's going to cost you the game. I'm sorry, it's going to cost you a place in the Champions League. And let me tell you something. If you would have won that game against Southampton, and if you would have tried to win this game against West Ham, we would be 4 points clear right now of Chelsea. That means we would have already be in the top 4. And that Leicester game would have been irrelevant. We dropped points against Southampton in the 96th minute. Individual error. We did not play well against West Ham, and we did not go for a win against West Ham. And that's due to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer telling the players, or whether the player, and he might just go and tell the players that, look, go and try to win the game. It's on the players to actually go and win the game. And if they don't do that, you will never come to know whose decision it was. But I don't see a leader on the field when things are not going well for Manchester United, because when things are going well, when you're defeating 3 teams 3-0 and 5-2s and whatnot, then everything is happy-go-lucky. But when you're not doing that, when you're struggling to contain the team and score goals on the other side, where's the leader? Is Harry Maguire being a leader on the pitch? I don't think he is. I never see him pointing fingers at anybody, yelling at anybody who's not doing a job, because he himself is not doing a job. And that's the problem. His own form has not been good. So there are concerns about this Manchester United team. And look, I'm not going to rant about them today. I have not ranted about them. It's just my opinion. Many of you might have a difference of opinion, and that's all fine. But believe you me, I am going to rant on this channel come Sunday night if we do lose against Leicester City. Because then we are just handing over our chances of playing in the Champions League to Leicester City. And I know we can go ahead and win the Europa League and just try to be in the Champions League from that route, but we really want to get in the top four. Look at the quality of top four. Chelsea yesterday lost to Liverpool. Chelsea lost to Liverpool. Chelsea have lost 12 games this season. That's one loss in 3 games, right? That's, I mean, you play 38 games, you lost 12. That's almost one loss in 3 games. That's not the form you need. That's not the stats you need to be in the Champions League. So the quality after Liverpool and Manchester City has been really poor. So do you think you'll be able to challenge the likes of City and Liverpool next season? And then you talk about challenging teams. You already have Chelsea getting Werner, Chelsea getting Ziyech. Chelsea are front runners to sign Kai Havertz. These are three potentially three of the world class players coming and joining Chelsea. Potentially, I'm not saying they are already world class. They have potential to be there, be that. So if Chelsea has improved, Liverpool are Liverpool. City will obviously buy a new defender and they are going to improve as well. United just buying Sancho, is it enough? Do you think buying Sancho and keeping Pogba is enough? Because it's not. Because when Bruno doesn't perform, who comes on for Bruno Fernandes? There's no one. When Pogba doesn't perform, who comes on for Paul Pogba? And you think Bruno and Pogba are going to play 60 games a season? They've played 10 games or 9 games, a game every 2-3 days, and they looked tired. I mean, you can have the argument that they are not tired, but if they are not tired, they are not performing. So if they are not performing, you need someone else to come along and perform instead of them. And if they are tired, then you anyways need to replace them with someone else, and you don't have someone else because Mata, Lingard, Pereira are not good enough. Diego Dallo is not good enough. And that's not what I'm saying. That's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is also hinting at, because he's not been using those players even when in need. So if you can't use these players, sell them off and buy, invest. And that's where I point the finger at the Glazers and Ed Woodward. If they're not going to do that, if they're not going to go and buy at least 2, if not 3 players this transfer window, a right winger, a central midfielder, and a centre back if possible. If they are not going to do that, then how is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer supposed to continue this rise of Manchester United and try to win a title in the next 3 years? It seems, because for me, if we don't invest heavily in the transfer market, first and second are not going to change. City and Liverpool are going to be first and second, and by the looks of it, Chelsea look like they're going to be third with the firepower that they will have next season. So again, I see ourselves fighting for the 4th position, maybe with the Arsenals and the Tottenhams and the Leicesters and the Evertons and whatnot, with the Wolves as well. So there are so many teams challenging for that 4th spot, and it's the same thing's going to be repeated next season if we don't invest in the transfer window. But there's still time for that. We can go out and win that game against Leicester. We can even draw that game and get into the top 4. Actually, we can lose that game and still get top 4 if Chelsea lose the game at home against Wolves, which I don't think is not going to happen. It's not going to happen, but it's still a chance, right? So there is still an opportunity for us. It remains to be seen what happens, but I really feel that Solskjaer needs to not play defensive football. He cannot play a back 5. He needs to learn something from the Chelsea game. He cannot play a back 5, and you won't even have Eric Bailly. So who are you going to play in the back 5? You're going to play with Brandon Williams and Aaron Bissaka on the flanks, and then you're going to have Lindelof, Maguire, and Fosu Mensah playing as the back 3. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I'm a little bit scared. And then who are you going to drop off? Are you going to drop Greenwood? Are you going to drop Rashford? Are you going to drop Martial, Bruno, Pogba, Matic? That's 6 players. You can't drop these 6 players. So I don't know what he's going to do. I hope he's going to play the same formation. I hope the players do turn up. But let's see what happens. If we lose this opportunity, guys, then we have no one else to blame but us. So hopefully we do take this opportunity. Of course, the transfer season is coming up. There's a lot of talk about Jadon Sancho again, as usual. There's talks about Grealish maybe not coming to Manchester United. There's an update about that, but I'm going to wait a couple of days to make sure, because whatever I'm going to say, that has to be verified by the journalists and by the people who have been in this industry for a long time. So yeah, there's a possibility that United might go for someone other than Jack Grealish. Depends upon Villa staying up or not, because Arsenal just lost against Aston Villa, so Aston Villa might just stay up. remains to be seen. We'll talk about transfers more and more as we end the July period in the Premier League. But just hoping that we win against Leicester City, and till that time, guys, keep praying and take care.